Hey book nerds, I'm Travis, and this is Travis Reads Books. Today I want to do a bit of a retro review of a book I recently reread, The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. I read this book many years ago when I was in high school, and it was one of the few books on my high school reading list that I actually enjoyed. I've been watching The Handmaid's Tale Hulu series, and it is phenomenal. It is really an amazing TV show, and so it made me want to go back and reread the book for all the bits and pieces that I couldn't remember. This is the story of a dystopian future where men and the religious right are in complete control of America. A lot of people are having a hard time watching the TV series because it hits a little close to home, with current politics being what they are. Margaret Atwood doesn't like to call this book science fiction. She likes to call it speculative fiction, and it was written decades ago. Atwood was surprisingly accurate with her terrifying vision of the future. The book centers around Offred, whose name simply means she was given to Fred. We never find out her real name. Something so personal that she keeps it only for herself. She can't even bring herself to share it with the reader. In a future where most children are born with horrible deformities or stillborn, Offred is put into service as a surrogate mother for the upper class, because she's still fertile and has successfully had a child before. Offred doesn't know what happened to her husband or her child, and she fights to keep her sanity in what can only be described as a living hell. As always, I don't want to go into the details of the plot or what happens, but I will say this is a dark story and this is not a fun read. I mean, it's a fantastic read, but it is not a fun read. Atwood's use of language is fantastic. Every choice of word has meaning beyond what you think it means. It's like everything Offred says secretly has another meaning that you may or may not understand as time goes by. The story jumps through time as Offred frequently recalls details of her past and the situation that led her to become a handmaid in the commander's household. The prose is beautiful and elegant. Offred's words have an almost iambic quality to them. It feels almost like she's writing poetry rather than simply recounting the horrific details of her life. If you're wondering what I'm drinking, it's Green Mountain Wild Blueberry. It's a little unorthodox, but I'll allow it. Truthfully, this is one of the most beautiful books I've ever read, and just plain one of the best. It's far better even than I remember it being, and I remember it being pretty damn good to begin with. It's probably not for everyone. Like I said, it's not a fun read. It's not an easy read. It is dark and it is complex and it is challenging. But if you can stomach the subject matter, it is well worth your time. Well, that was my retro review for A Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. If you liked it, go ahead and give it a like. If you disliked it, go ahead and give it a dislike. Be sure to check out my other videos. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Goodreads. Be sure and subscribe if you haven't already, and thanks for watching. Love and respect. See you next time.